This is Wilmington, California, a neighborhood at the edge of Los Angeles Harbor, and for the first time in its long, complicated history, the people here finally have direct access to the water. The Wilmington Waterfront Promenade opened in 2024. 9 acres, 1,300 feet of shoreline, $77 million invested to turn industry into public space. After decades of blocked access, Wilmington finally got its waterfront. To build it, crews demolished 10 acres of industrial land, abated asbestos, and rebuilt seawalls with steel sheet piles. Old concrete and asphalt were crushed and buried beneath the new paths. For the first time ever, Wilmington touched the water. A 120-foot floating dock, rare public dock in a working cargo port, onyx tidal steps, stone terraces where waves roll in, 45-foot floodlights. At night, they cast dramatic silhouettes of cranes, plus trees planted, plus lawns, bluffs, restrooms, and trails. It looks clean and modern, but it stands in the shadow of industry. In the mid-1800s, this area was called New San Pedro. Entrepreneur Phineas Banning renamed it Wilmington after his Delaware hometown, shaping it into a transportation hub. When the Civil War broke out, California's loyalties were split. In 1862, the Union Army built Camp Drum here to keep Confederate sympathizers in check. Its powder magazine still stands today, one of the oldest military structures in Los Angeles. Just a year later, in 1863, tragedy struck. The SS Ada Hancock ferry exploded while carrying passengers offshore. At least 26 people died in the blast. Phineas Banning himself survived after being hurled through the air. Wilmington's harbor was never natural. San Pedro Bay was dredged and reshaped into a deep-water port. In 1932 came the oil boom. The Wilmington oil field became one of the largest in the U.S., producing billions of barrels, but it caused land subsidence. Entire neighborhoods sank several feet until engineers pumped water underground to stabilize the land. By the mid-20th century, refineries and oil rigs surrounded homes, schools, and churches. Nearly 20% of Wilmington's land is still tied to oil and refining today. The waterfront carries shadows, a record of tragedies, murders, and mysteries. These stories remind us Wilmington's waterfront is built on more than land. It's built on memory. Wilmington sits in the top 2% for cancer risk in the LA basin. Since 2000, over 16 million pounds of toxic chemicals have been released here. The Phillips 66 refinery alone pumps out 1,500 tons of smog gases every year. In 2021, chemicals from the Dominguez Channel fire poisoned the air for weeks, forcing evacuations. Cargo theft is another shadow economy. Police recovered $4.5 million in stolen goods and $1.4 million in vehicles, electronics, and firearms from theft rings. Where freight flows, crime follows. Lawns, bioswales, and earth berms here filter runoff and muffle port noise. Though critics call it green camouflage, a mask while pollution and refinery fumes persist. Wilmington has only 6 public parks, while nearly 20% of its land remains tied to oil. The promenade isn't the end. It's just the beginning of Wilmington's waterfront transformation. The next phase is the Avalon Pedestrian Bridge and Promenade Gateway, spanning rail lines and truck corridors to connect Avalon Boulevard directly to the harbor. It will add 12 acres of landscaped space, plazas, shaded seating, and cultural gathering areas.